Good people, what's going on? You guys are watching your favorite podcast, Connecting the Dots. Kim, what's up? We've been going for a week, right?
Yeah, we were gone. I am Kimmy Coco, and we are heading upon a historic week in Georgia. It's election day when you watch this, and we may be having our first black woman.
We will. Let's speak that into existence.
Governor in the state of Georgia. Yes, we will have. And it won't be without controversy, I'm sure, considering that Brian Kemp, who's her running against her, is also the Secretary of State. The latest here in Atlanta, there's been some campaigning going on by Oprah Winfrey and Obama. Jay Black and I were down at Morehouse when Obama was there. And there was a lot of people out there. So we got some footage from there.
Oh, for real? Perfect.
So you can take a look at some of the people we ran into. The diversity of the people down there is what really spoke to me, and how there are so many people coming together that want a change in Georgia.
Right.
A couple of things have been going on since we last have seen you. I coined the phrase "the whites are wilding" only because I'm like, the whites are wilding. Like the closer we get to the midterm elections, the more dirt comes out. The more I hear about like terrorist activities going on. Since we last were here, there were people shot at a synagogue in Pennsylvania. There was a lynching.
In 2018.
So we're going to get into the details about some of that. But just take a look at some of the footage that we have from out there. There were so many people out there to see Obama. There were so many people out there to see Oprah. Oprah campaigned for Stacey Abrams, too.
Amazing. Keisha Lance Bottoms as well.
Keisha Lance Bottoms. And Candy from the Housewives.
She was there as well?
She was out there, yep.
Super dope.
There were a whole lot of people out there. And then Trump today.
He's supposed to be over here, right?
He's going to be in Macon, Georgia with the Brian Kemp campaign. And they were supposed to have their last debate today, which is Sunday. When you see this, it'll be actually election day. And there were some rumors going around saying that Stacey Abrams canceled it and blah, blah, blah. But what happened is he canceled it because his boy was coming here today. Right. So he can't hang out with Trump. So that's what was going on. I hope everybody voted. If you waited to the last minute, you really did yourself a disservice because the weather is bad now. Also keep in mind that you can take time off from work to vote.
Please tell people that.
You can. Really you are legally entitled to take time off to vote. And in Georgia, let me see. In Georgia, well, you check out our page. Check out our page. Right? Georgia is Georgia is 2 hours.
2 hours, that's what it is.
Texas has no limit.
Which is
so
amazing.
There's a certain amount of time that you get depending on what state it is. Check out our page, Connecting the Dots ATL on Instagram. We have a map on there. And it may be, depending on what time you're looking at this, a little bit too late. But if you are here in the city of Atlanta, they're saying it's going to be very bad weather. But think about what our ancestors went through so that you can vote.
That's big facts.
They stood up and they did more than have to stand out in weather. They got beaten, dogs put on them, and all that footage that you see from the civil rights movement. A lot of it comes from the right to vote. Selma and all that was so that they were fighting for their right to vote.
That's it.
Because at one point, black people were not legally able to vote, and then at one point women weren't legally able to vote, and then when they were able to vote, they made them go through all this crap, all these tests, and guess how many jelly beans are in the jar and all that, just so that they can
jelly beans in the jar. Wow.
And all we need to do is make sure our address is correct, make sure you update your stuff, make sure you register your vehicle and all that in the state so that you are so that you have to vote. You know what I'm saying? Register to vote, because like a lot of states, like I always say, if you ever watch this show, before the show is over, one time I'm going to say you have to vote. I mean, at the end of the day, everything that you do, anything that affects your everyday life has something to do with who you voted for.
That's facts.
Even down to the water you drink, the water you take a shower in, the gas.
All that stuff.
Your company, how much you get paid.
That's amazing.
The road that you drive on.
But at the same time, that's going to affect.
Here comes a non-voter with an opinion. What are you saying, sir?
Whether you vote or not,
it's still going to be what it is.
If you do vote and the person you don't want to get in, you still going to have to pay for water. You still have to pay for gas. You have to pay for groceries. You still going to have to pay for this shit.
But the price you pay.
I mean,
the situation, the scenario, the regulations. If the Food and Drug Administration isn't putting regulations on these farms and on these vegetables and on these meats, then you might be eating some horrible, horrible stuff. What about the drug companies? The FDA regulating some of the drugs that should be put through. How marijuana can stop the opioid crisis, like everything.
Yeah, that's real. And on the other end, some people, they can say, well, Kim, we live in this racist society, so no matter who we vote for, politics is driven by money, lobbyism, so they're still going to have their own motive. So what do you have to say to those people? Because Jay Black, I used to have that same thought process. Sometimes I still do, because it's like, even if I don't vote, what difference is it going to make? So yeah, I feel you. But I know that you have a response for that one, though, Kim.
If you don't vote, the people that did vote, and the people that do lobby, and the people that do protest, you're still going to be able to enjoy the benefits of our labor. So, I mean, you're right. It doesn't matter to you. And you can take that approach.
He's sipping his tea, right?
But at the end of the day, I'm sure if you're saying that now in 2018, imagine how impossible all this sounded to a Martin Luther King. True. Or to a Fannie Lou Hamer. Or to
Medgar Evers.
Medgar Evers.
Mississippi.
Anyone. Yeah. I mean, it had to Harriet Tubman, it had to sound impossible for somebody to be free. To Frederick Douglass, it had to be like, imagine how many haters and naysayers they had.
That's right. So is it more beneficial to vote or more beneficial to actively do something in the community?
It's important to do both. And if you're not a voter and you are an active community member, I applaud you, I salute you. You might be a felon or you can't vote, but you contribute to somebody's campaign, or you go knock door to door, or you make a phone call. Everybody is not in the choir at church. Like, you just pick what your ministry is in the world.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like people I do feel people should vote. I'm not saying people shouldn't vote. But at the same time, I feel like if somebody's not voting,
we should shame them.
Yeah, because that's just like what I look at, like Christianity. People, they be forcing Christianity on people. And it's like, just let me do it if I want to do it. Like,
or do it their way.
People who come to the house, Jehovah's Witnesses, like, don't force nothing on me.
Right.
Don't force your views on what I believe. Like, and that's all I'm saying. Like, shoot, don't force the views. Let somebody do what they want to do.
Well, do what you can. I mean,
and don't shame them. Like, if you ain't voting,
you're gonna get shamed. That's just like,
don't try to guilt trip somebody. Like, your ancestors did this. Like, okay, I understand that. Like, but that's not how I'm moving.
And see, even speaking on that, someone once said that our ancestors died for us to have that choice to vote, not to feel like we're obligated to vote.
Not for someone to tell you no, you can't.
Right, exactly. And I think that sometimes Jay Black's sentiment, just like mine's in the past, was I'm not voting because I don't feel like voting for somebody who I feel like I have to settle for, or that someone that doesn't have my people's best interests at heart. So I completely feel that. But I think that this one is completely different because we have somebody that's actually boots to the ground. And this is someone who looks like us. But at the same time, it's a high chance that Stacey Abrams, if she gets elected, she can do the complete switch up. But I think that I would be more at peace, especially after seeing Trump being elected, when I thought that, hey, if I don't vote, it doesn't matter because Hillary, she's going to win regardless. So seeing that.
Right. You Abrams, have to put, you got to do something.
This is in Georgia. And then seeing the complete opposition to this, which is Brian Kemp. And Kim, those commercials, like we spoke about it on Thursday night, like dude is using some weird whistleblowers. Like she would say, or he would show a clip of Stacey Abrams talking about having undocumented people becoming citizens, and then he responds and say, "Do you want a governor who wants aliens?"
Yeah, she addressed that in their debate that they did have. She addressed that very same issue because I think she knows that they were using those clips. Kemp. Today, it just came out, breaking news. He is accusing the Democrats of election meddling in the polls, that their computers were hacked.
Well, another thing, like I said about the whole voting thing, like, listen to the shit we talking about. We talking about him hacking the. That don't have shit to do with the people. Like,
that's real.
That shit that they going back and forth. Like, so. I don't know. That's one thing about the
okay.
vote.
This is the thing. Don't But this is what I'm saying. These are the tactics.
I mean, we seeing what type of person this person is.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, they both attacking each other.
Let me tell you something. Don't get caught up in that, though. Don't get caught up in that. That's just what he's doing.
But that's what the masses is talking about.
But we got to tell people why he's doing it. I get it. Okay, I get it.
And now we forming an opinion of this person, the type of person he is, which I understand that goes along with.
But it's not just
because talking about his policies. We're talking about the fuck shit he doing.
Okay, well, his policy is he's like very light on gun control.
Yeah.
Another one of his policies is Medicaid expansion, and we heard when we were out there and we were talking to people, he's not for that, and Stacey Abrams is, and that's a whole big issue for people, and that's one of the things that are bringing some of the Republicans over to this Democratic candidate because of Medicaid, because of insurance, because of illness.
See, those are good points, and those are the conversations that need to be had instead of
saying, those are the conversations.
He's this.
Because,
why are we voting for Stacey Abrams? We're not voting for her because she's black.
Right.
We're voting for her because
her policies.
Her policies, his healthcare policy, this policy, and that's the conversation that we need to have that we're not having. Not saying us,
right?
I'm saying people that's
in general. Now, I will say this, and especially speaking towards our own people, voting for somebody because they're black, there's nothing wrong with that because white people vote for somebody because he's white. But we have to vote more than just because of his skin color, which I completely agree with.
Because this is the thing. But that's what's happened.
But you got the right to vote. But you're not using your right to vote
properly.
Right. You feel me? You're just using it because you got it.
That's fair.
That's defeating the purpose.
And Jay Black, I used to feel the same way because I used to tell my parents this. And to me, that's just like someone finally giving us reparations, but we spend all of that money at the strip club. But we can say, hey, we finally got it. But the question is what you going to do with it.
That money burning a hole in your pocket. You got money, you just spend it just because you got it.
There you go.
Just because, like.
There you go.
Like I say, I'm not saying don't vote. If you want to vote, that's on you. I think it's more, and I probably can speak for other people. For me, it's more of a selfish thing. I haven't directly been affected by not voting or the politics. So it's like, okay, I'm cool. Like, I don't care as much. I guess until I actually really get affected, like so I hurt my pockets or something. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna encourage people to vote. I'm gonna have a reason to vote.
It is affecting your pockets whether you know it or not.
Well, I don't know it yet. I don't know.
You don't know it yet, right? Well, that's the thing about this show. We try to bring people into awareness about things that are going on in social and how it affects politics and how it all, comes together. That's why we have these conversations like this. Yeah. Now, the base is fired up and it's all based on racist issues, and that's why it comes down to race. I don't care about the race issue. I don't care about the politics issue. I don't care about if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat. I care about what you're going to do for the people, for everyone, for the greater good of someone that looks like me.
Society.
Right. Yeah. Now, when I drive down Cobb Parkway, all of a sudden I'm starting to see those old Confederate Georgia flags again. Are black people doing that? No. They're making it a race thing. Yeah. So that's how it comes into play. And then they start these tactics. Now remember, this is the same guy that back in the 2016 election, the FBI came and said, hey, Brian Kemp, hey, state of Georgia, the Russians hacked your computers. And he was like, oh, no, I think it's just a trick. We'll be okay. He didn't do anything else about it. He left that door wide open. Now, all of a sudden, he knows for a fact that the Democrats, within 24 hours, were the ones that... How do you know? When the FBI had evidence and proof, they knew the name, the date, the time, and how the Russians hacked into the election, he didn't want to look any further into that. You know what I mean? Like, it's little stuff like that people aren't made aware of. I mean, even if he set aside all that stuff we just talked about, what his policies are, just the fact that this guy is willing to put your information on the line so that he can win an election or so that his party can win an election, that should scare the shit out of people.
And I understand that. I understand, like, you still we gotta look at the policy, but you still gotta look at the character of a person. Because, at the end of the day, they making decisions.
That says a lot about his character right there.
But I just feel like a lot of the conversation is...
about race.
90% of the conversation is about the bullshit he's doing instead of, what the fuck is this nigga even? What do we want to bring in office? Like, what is his policies?
When you start talking about government deregulation and stuff like that, you got to think about, like I said, the food, the FDA, the investments. You know what I mean?
Legalization of marijuana. And that one is a big one because I think that is a loophole because then that raises mass incarceration. So then from
absolutely.
And I think that he knows if we legalize marijuana, then that's less inmates.
Exactly.
So yeah, I completely get that.
So yeah, check out our page, Connected to Us ATL. The last last email I got from a Stacey Abrams campaign, she was in the lead, 48.1 to 47.2%. So by the time you see this, you'll be able to have more information and more up-to-date information. In order for her to win, she has to have like 51% of the vote.
Got you.
Unless, other than that, they're going to have to do a runoff election.
And I'm afraid of that.
Yeah, so we'll see.